Alright, I said I was going to film it, but I've kind of just been chipping away when I have a couple minutes here and there, so I just blew apart this driver's side. So next I'm going to go over to the passenger side, take apart the hub, get the axle out, and then I'll pull the steering out and pull the diff cover off, and then we'll begin. Alright, so I figured I'd just show you this part. So what I did, I've broken it free and it's gonna pop out. I just haven't got it out yet because I was just about to pull these bolts out, and then so what I did was I was watching Colt builds it on YouTube, and he was happening to be building just a 1 year difference axle. It's the same axle, so you put the wrench there. I didn't have a massive pry bar, but I do have these, and a lot of people have them. They're from like Harbor Freight. Just these chisels is the biggest one. And so here on the carrier, I just pry it against the back of the carrier like this, against the bottom. You just go like that, and it pops it out. Oops, sorry, my camera got out. Sorry, I kind of dropped the camera, and then it stopped recording. But yeah, so you just pry on the bottom here on the carrier. Don't do it to the ring gear. Just pry on the back of the carrier, and it doesn't even take much force. Just something that's not gonna give. So these work good. Don't try like screwdriver because it'll bend a little bit and it won't give you the power you need to pop it out. But I just had to do it twice. It moved once, and then I went to pull it out, and it was still stuck in there. So I put, I put these back in it, and then just loosely. You want them to have play. Oh, that one's falling out completely. But yeah, and just make sure you know which way they go. They have markings, like right here it has an S, and then on the top of this one it has an O because whoever did this last reversed it. This one has the S, and that side has the O. But they say it, and I had no issues with this, so they say put it back exactly how you found it. So this one's just reversed because someone did that originally. It's probably because they didn't care about the orientation, because they changed the gears, they changed the locker, and probably put new bearings and everything in there. So it didn't matter because they were going to be checking, backlash and everything anyways, and adjusting the shim. So they didn't worry too much about it. It would have been nice if they had paid attention to that for the next person like me, but oh well. We know what's going on, so we're going to be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of here. I won't be filming it just because I listen to music and I don't really know what I'm doing. So I don't want to steer you guys wrong. So once I figure it out, then I can, let you guys know. All right, stay tuned. It's so gross in there. Oh my gosh. Let me get inside. Look at how thick of dirt. It's like, this looks like what I expect the pipes from a toilet to look like. Holy cow. That is so bad. This is why I don't do mud riding. Hold on, I'm trying to get my flashlight situated so I can look down this other one. It's so bad. Look at that. There's so much shit in there. How am I gonna get it all out? Oh my gosh. Alright, so put the ring gear back in. Now I would have it back together already. At least have the axles and hubs put back together. But when I was inventorying everything that I pulled apart, it had no thrust washers. So I had to get those. And when I ordered it showed 2, and I only got 1. So I'm still waiting on a second. Also, this is the spindle bearing seal. It goes on the back side of this. Let's see if I can get a... So yeah, it just sits against that little bearing right there. So when I pulled it apart, I was just, making sure I put everything back the way it came, and that little seal was on the inner shaft. So it was like on this side and not this side of the U-joint. So it was essentially, there's no ceiling here. That's why if you saw all that mud and stuff that goes in there, like anything can go in there. So there's no seal. So whoever put this together the last time, whoever rebuilt or did those axle shafts or whatever, probably the same person that did those caps. Yeah, they left out the thrust washer, put those gaskets in the wrong spot, seal, whatever it is, O-ring. So I'll get that straightened out. And obviously didn't affect it too much, but we're going to put it back together the correct way. So I should have that here tomorrow, and then I'll get this all buttoned back up. And we should be good to go. The ring gear went in super easy. I mean, the only issue when you're doing it on the vehicle is you're having to, hold it up and get in there. And it's a perfect fit. So like you can't there's no slop. So it's not going to so it's got to be perfect when you're going in. And then I just used a log against the ring gear and just pounded it the rest of the way in. And yeah, it went in fine. For the seals, I froze them and then I use this. Let me see if I can get this out. It's just this. I'll just show the instructions. It'll show a picture of it. So yeah, it just goes in there and pushes off the opposite side to press in the seal. It works on a Dana 44 or a 60. It was like $40. So yeah, I mean, you pretty much just reverse this little piece for the 44 versus the 60. Oh, I have it upside down, it probably helps. So like there's the 44 and then the 60, they just flip that. But yeah, that was super easy. Definitely worth the $40 because I can use that when I go to 1 ton. We're that much closer to having the stuff to actually do some gear changes. Because I don't like paying people to do stuff. I'd rather do it myself, save the money, use that money towards future upgrades. So I'll show a video once I get it back together, make sure everything's sealing up good, and then we should be back on the trails within a couple weeks. All right, it's the next day. I went ahead and assembled one side, and as you can tell, I got one side axle shaft back in, and it is no longer black, it is gold. I just decided to paint it up while I was out, keep it from rusting and everything, like the U-joints and the caps, all that. So it was black before and rusty, so now it's gold. I'm still waiting on that thrust washer for the other side. It should be here. It says by like 10 p.m. tonight. So I figured instead of delaying everything till that shows up, I just went ahead and knocked out the side, got it all back together. It works. This brake is kind of locked up right now. It spun freely before I put the caliper on, so I know I did the torquing the wheel bearings and everything correctly, so that's all good. It was spinning nice. So once that shows up tomorrow, I'm going to do the other side, then I'll show it finished. But what did show up today is this. So this is going to be my track bar bracket brace. Track bar bracket brace. So this will hit the other frame rail on the passenger side, and then it'll tie into the back of my track bar bracket here. Now this one, it's kind of angled for, I guess they had their own track bar bracket and then it had a hole ready for this, but I'll make it work with this. I may end up grinding off that weld, straighten it back out, re-welding it. But we'll see. Maybe I'll just throw a nut in there and just kind of bend this tab out by torquing it down. Because it's not going to be the end of the world once it's in there and this is secure on the other side. I'm even going to throw a tack here just because, as I explained before, I don't want this to the track bar bracket to, get pushed, bent out, and then it just slides on these bolts, making this essentially useless if that happens. So I'll probably throw a tack on the frame rail to that I'll grind off if I ever have to remove it, but that'll ensure it doesn't slide. So, all right, stay tuned to the next day. All right, now it's done. Kind of. So it's all back together. It's no longer leaking out of the axle seals. You can see this one back there. Everything's good except for now I have a diff cover gasket leak. So it's unfortunate because that gasket's only a couple months old, and the bottom of the diff is pretty tore up, as you can see. So I have another gasket from the rear end. They take the same one. It's a Fel-Pro, so I'm gonna pull the diff cover back off tomorrow. I also got some new bolts because some of them are pretty ground down, and I can't get a socket on it. I can only get a wrench in a couple spots on some of those bolts. So got some new bolts coming, more gear oil, and I'm actually glad because I'm switching from the synthetic back to the other, because the cheaper non-synthetic does better. It keeps it cooler than the synthetic does, so supposedly. But anyways, we're gonna throw that in there, put some new bolts on it, put the new gasket on it, clean up anything that I see on the back of the cover or on the actual housing itself, and see if it leaks. If it leaks still, well, we're gonna get the Yukon purple cover and see if that helps. If it still leaks, then oh well. I may do some gasket sealer at the bottom, but I'm pretty sure I'll have it fixed tomorrow. That leak, it's not even that, it's pretty bad. It's like a drop every 15-20 seconds. So that is that. I just want to do this outro so I can release this video tomorrow on Sunday. So you'll be seeing it tomorrow, which will be today when you're watching it. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.